Welcome back to the Utah Jazz MyLeague here at NBA 2K16. This is episode 2 as we have simmed through about a month of the season, and we will be heading into a game soon against the Indiana Pacers at home, the first home game we're going to show in this series. And beforehand, we're going to go over some stats, each team's stats, where we are in the standings, and just go over what's been happening. And also, one thing that happened is that the Utah Jazz have went out and signed Larry Sanders for some depth at the center and power forward position, because right now the backup center is Withy. And, well, Withy isn't exactly very good. He's like a 70 overall guy who all he can do is block. And at least with Sanders, he can rebound and block. And he's not too bad at getting the basket in the bucket. What am I saying? The ball in the basket. There we go. As well. So, we signed Larry Sanders. He's now the backup center. We gave him 1 year and $5 million because I didn't know if I wanted to bring him back for another year. If we do, we'll sign him in the offseason. If not, we won't. As far as the record goes, the Utah Jazz are currently sitting at 5-12 in the season. Not off to a good start. That is 4th out of 5 places in the Northwest Division in the Western Conference. And in the Western Conference, they are currently 14th. And there's only 15 spots in the West. The only team worse is the same team that's worse than them in the Northwest, and that is the Denver Nuggets, who are currently 3-15, 3-17, something like that, something ridiculously bad. And the Jazz also aren't even on a hot streak right now at all. They are currently 2-8 in their last 10 games. As far as stats go right now, the leading scorer for the Utah Jazz is Gordon Hayward. He has 19.4 points per game with 5.1 assists per game. Trey Burke is doing pretty decent as well, 13.2 points per game, 4.9 assists. Derek Favors, 11.4 points, 7.7 rebounds, and 1.5 blocks. Rudy Gobert has 5.6 points per game, 9.8 blocks, rebounds, and those 9.8 rebounds are enough for 8th in all of the NBA for rebounds per game, and then he also has 1.7 blocks per game as well. On the Pacers side of things, they are being led, of course, by Paul George. He has 23.1 points per game with 8.2 rebounds as well. Then you can drop down to Monta Ellis, who's doing well with 14.3 points per game and 4.9 assists per game. George Hill, 12.8 points per game, 6.6 assists per game, and also around 4 rebounds per game as well as the point guard. Now keep in mind, these statistics are on 10-minute quarters, so they're not completely up to what they would be in real life, but that is what they are in 10-minute quarters. And now let's hop into a game against the Pacers at home. The starting 5 for each team. Jazz is guard from guard to center, 1-5. Trey Burke, Alec Burks, Gordon Hayward, Derek Favors, and Rudy Gobert. For the Pacers side of things, from 1-5, George Hill, Monta Ellis, Paul George, Lavoy Allen, and Jan, because I don't know how to say his last name. So the tip-off here to start the ball game is won by the Pacers. We'll give it over to Monta Ellis, or George Hill, He'll drive to the rim, and he'll get the basket to fall as they strike first in the ball game. So 6-2 Pacers now later on in the first. Gordon Hayward trying to drive to the rim, kicks it outside to Gobert. It's turned over, and the Pacers are going the other way with it. Monta Ellis goes to the rim himself. He gets blocked by Gobert, however, and then the Jazz are going the other way with it. Still 6-2. Trey Burke passes down low to Rodney Hood. Back at the Trey Burke, who steps atop of the free throw line, drives the rim himself, tries to lay it in, and he succeeds. It's down to a 2-point lead. 6-4 ball game. Pacers the ball. Lavoy Allen working on Derek Favors. Top of the free throw line, blows past him. He gets blocked at the rim, however, by Gobert, and the Jazz go the other way. Hayward over to Rodney Hood, who lays it in on the feed from Gordon Hayward. It's a tie ball game up at 6. But it's 10-8 later on in the first. Pacers in the lead. A step-back jumper. Beautiful play from Monta Ellis right there. It's now a 12-8 ball game. 2-point lead now, 12-10. Pacers the ball. Jan gets past Rudy Gobert and lays it in. The theme of this episode is Pacers, 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 and Jazz turnovers. Here, we get a block yet again, but they give it down low to Jan as he gets the block right back. and it's a 6-point lead for the Pacers. 16-12 now. Raul Neto checks in the game as he turns the ball over, and Stuckey's going the other way, lays it in, and it's now a 8-point lead for the Pacers as they're starting to come away with it here in the first. So Neto's going to call the play. He kicks it out to the corner for Alec Burks, but he misses the three-pointer. Pacers get the rebound, but the Jazz get it right back in the turnover. Trevor Booker over to Neto, the Brazilian point guard. Over to Burks, and then Ingles drives to the rim and slams it down, the Aussie with the two-handed slam. It's now a 22-17 ball game later on in the first with less than 2 minutes left. Ingles from three, and he can't knock it down. So he misses, and that was basically the theme of the first quarter. 28-20 is the final at the end of one 8-point lead for the Pacers. So let's pick things back up here in the second quarter. 32-22 is the score. Down low to Jordan Lyles, back out to Trey Burke, who drives to the rim and lays it in. Gets some points to start off the quarter for the Jazz. But then the Pacers have the ball, they turn it over, and Trey Burke goes the other way, gives it over to Gordon Hayward. He lays it in, and the Jazz are off to a pretty decent start here in the second, but they could not really keep it like that despite that Gobert cutting to the rim layup. And then even this Derek Favors over to Gobert, over to Trey Burke for a three, knocks it down, makes it a 39-33 ball game. But then really the Pacers just kept taking away with it. George Hill to the rim, turns it over, but then he gets it back. They try to lay it in, gets rebounds, all kinds of chaos in front of the net, until the Pacers finally lay it back in, and they get the hoop and the harm. So then C.J. Miles in transition to Paul George, slams it, posterizes Derek Favors right up and over him. Paul George, what a dunk. 44-33, 11-point lead now as Neto drives to the rim, kicks it at the 3-4. Burks knocks down the triple. 48-36 later on in the second now as Neto turns it over. Lavoy Allen goes in transition. He slams it down with a right-handed slam. 50-36 is the score now. Pick things up with the Jazz as Withy kicks it over to Alec Burks. He'll go and slam it down on top of Lavoy Allen. Alec Burks was really the main bright spot of this team today. He could shoot, he was dunking, but that is not the entire team as they're down 56-38 heading into the third. As we'll pick things up with the Pacers, Monta Ellis will knock down the mid-range right atop the free throw line. 58-40 is the score now, 18-point lead. It's getting out of hand. Monta Ellis drives right past Rodney Hood, lays it in. More Monta Ellis points, 60-40, 20-point lead. So Trey Burke turns it over for the Jazz, and the Pacers going in transition. Paul George stops right by the free throw line, and he knocks down the mid-range on the fast break. So Derek Favors kicks out to Trey Burke here for the Jazz. He drives to the rim, lays it in, but he can't get the go down. So the Pacers get the rebound. They go in transition. Paul George over to Jan. He gets the contact, no foul, but he doesn't get the layup. 66-42 is the score now. Trey Burke with the ball for the Jazz kicks after three for Rodney Hood, and that's basically the trend of this game. They can't get anything going their way. It's just not a good day for the Jazz. They can't knock down wide open threes with Rodney Hood. And then the Pacers go down and score the layup at the end of three. It's 78 Pacers, 54 Jazz. They are just running away with this basketball game. So let's pick things up in the fourth quarter. 83-56 is the score as the cutting Hill to the bucket gets the layup. More Pacers. Monta Ellis crossing up his man, goes straight to the rim, and when that goes in, that's how you know that you're just not in the cards to win this ball game. And then, but Gordon Hayward does get that slam right there. White guy gets up and dunks it down. And then they get this as well. Gordon Hayward drives to the rim, gets the bucket. But this is all just for show, basically, just trying to pad some stats here because, well, nothing is going to happen as they're just ridiculously down. Jordan Lyles gets that bucket, the rookie out of Kentucky. And then Hill knocks down the mid-range for the Pacers atop the free throw line. The Pacers stole the ball once again, kick it over for the long two, and they miss the shot, but the rebound goes to, I think it's Withington is his name. So we'll pick things back up here with the Jazz, 93-65, a three from Hayward, and like I said, just not going their way. Wide open three, missed from Gordon Hayward, their best shooter. Alec Burks slams it down. Like I said, he was the one bright spot of this team. and that'll end the ball game. 97 Pacers, 72 Jazz is the score. No one's at the arena. It was a blowout, just not a good day for the Utah Jazz at all. Paul George was the Jordan player of the game as he had 17 points, 5 assists, and 7 rebounds on the day for the Pacers in their rout of our Utah Jazz. And like I said for the 60th time, Alec Burks was the main bright spot. 19 minutes, 19 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 7 for 10 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3-point, and 2 for 2 from the free throw line. Rodney Hood had a decent day as well, 10 points, 2 rebounds, 5 for 6 from the field, 0 for 1 from 3. Trey Burke, 9 points, 7 assists, and really nothing else went the Jazz way. The Pacers, on the other hand, their leading scorer was Monta Ellis, 19 points, 3 assists, 3 steals, 9 for 18 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3. Paul George, 17 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 8 for 13 from the field. Jan, I think it's Mahimi? Jan Mahimi? I don't know. I just know his first name is pronounced Jan. 12 points, 4 rebounds, 6 for 6 from the field. He did not miss. Rodney Stuckey also at double digits with 11, and even Jordan Hill had double digits with 11 too. So with that being said, that'll wrap things up here for this edition of the Utah Jazz My League here on NBA 2K16. I have been your host, Jerseyborn, and I'm saying goodbye.
Well, the clock says it's time to close now. I guess I'll